Today we're traveling across the universe in a review of Mass Effect Andromeda. The story follows Pathfinder Ryder in their journey to this uncharted galaxy. Of course, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. The promised Eden planet is sparse of plant life, but crawling with a new enemy, the Ket. Later on, you meet the indigenous aliens of Andromeda, the Angara, who mostly welcome you with open arms. They're a unique addition to the already diverse alien species we're familiar with, as they're direct about their feelings and take their duties seriously. There is a faction of them who are wary of outsiders, but who can blame them considering there are deals with the Ket? The Ket remind me of the Reapers and Harvesters. They exalt other species to be like them, and they're not originally from the Andromeda galaxy. Their leader, the Archon, happens to be after the same remnant artifacts as Ryder, which is the main source of conflict in the game. In many of the missions, you encounter lots of morally questionable characters, which seems so unrealistic for the Andromeda Initiative. There's a mutiny that occurs on the Nexus before your arc arrives, resulting in numerous exiles. It made me wonder, were people not vetted before traveling 2.5 million light-years away from the Milky Way? These interactions make it extremely difficult for me to trust anyone outside of my crew. Even your own father makes some questionable decisions, which you discover when you collect all of the memory triggers scattered throughout Andromeda. These triggers only add to the multitude of questions that I had during the game, few of which are actually answered. Maybe they'll be addressed in a later game, but I'm not holding my breath. I played on normal difficulty, and while I had issues with certain enemies, the game isn't overly challenging. Like its predecessors, the battles were simple, straightforward, and predictable. However, the Archon is an absolute joke. I thought as the main villain in this game, he would pose a much greater challenge than he actually did. The game is way too long. There is an excessive amount of side missions and tasks that are needlessly multi-part, and Ket dropships are constantly dispatched on planets as you pass certain areas, which creates filler content that adds no value to the plot. I started off clearing them at the beginning, but as time wore on, it just seemed like a pointless chore, a tactic to elongate an already lengthy game. I originally started this game when it launched back in 2017, and oof. The graphics have drastically improved since the release date, but they're still lacking. All of the Asari, aside from your squadmate Peebee, have the exact same facial structure. It makes it difficult to immerse yourself in this new galaxy when everyone looks the same. It's so bright on some of the planets that you can't see the terrain. Exiting the main menu will cause a scenery whiteout, which is debilitating during battle if you accidentally press the wrong button. The balance of sound overall is excellent. However, conversations would often trigger within a certain radius of an area. It's extremely out of place at times, such as when you're driving along a planet and your squadmates start talking about something you can't see over a ridge. This also happens on the Nexus, as running by certain spots will trigger dialogue from completed missions. Moving Ryder around is simple and smooth. The jumping mechanics are slightly difficult to grasp at first, but it doesn't take long to adjust. Holding Y constantly to interact with objects is a pain, especially to initiate dialogue. If you're not standing in exactly the right spot, the trigger to start a conversation will not appear. The vehicle you drive around on planets is a little clunky, and you have to shift between 4 and 6-wheel drive to maintain a decent speed. Leveling up is easy, but after a while becomes obnoxious. I leveled up everything I was interested in as an infiltrator fairly early on in the game. There aren't specific class restrictions for skills, so you can dabble in a little bit of everything. This feature is nice if you don't want to be confined to a certain class, but you're only allowed 3 abilities that can be active at once, meaning completely leveling up certain skills is a waste if you want to master a class, or if you play only one class throughout the game. For these reasons, I rate Mass Effect Andromeda a 5.5 out of 10 stars. I feel this is a game that only Mass Effect fans can endure playing through, and even they'll be disappointed. Hopefully the developers can overcome the numerous letdowns and shortcomings to make any future games worthy of the Mass Effect title. For a more in-depth review, visit our blog using the link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Squeegee with 5-Minute Reviews.